All right, I'm Jim Mundorf, and this is Lonesome Lands. This one's, I guess, a little special edition. Sometimes certain things come up in the news, and I feel like they should be talked about, and people should know about them. And so last week, I got a text message that had a letter. It was a picture of a letter from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association to the Independent Cattlemen's Association of Texas. And what that letter said, they had applied for a booth at at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association convention, and that convention's always kind of been billed as a cattlemen's convention, more of an industry convention. But what I've said through the years is it is an NCBA convention where they use it to kind of indoctrinate producers, to get them to go along with everything they want to go along with. And so this independent group applied for a booth at their trade show, and the trade show over the years has been sponsored by the Beef Checkoff. They've had different information come out that says sponsored by the Cattlemen's Beef Board, which is the Beef Checkoff. And so what that means, real quick, is cattlemen are forced to pay into the Beef Checkoff every time they sell their cattle. That money goes to a fund that is supposed to promote beef. Part of that fund is being used to promote this trade show. And so now we have cattlemen who are paying into this fund. They're forced to pay into it, and they're not being allowed to have a booth at the trade show that is sponsored by the Beef Checkoff. And so, just real quick, the letter says, after careful consideration, we have decided not to proceed with your organization's participation in the upcoming NCBA trade show. While we value contributions of diverse voices in the industry, we recognize that significant differences between our respective policy positions and missions would potentially detract from the goals of our organization and the objectives of the event. And so when I read that, I reached out, started kind of figuring out who I could talk to, and I came to Cooper Little, who is, I guess you can tell what you do and what this crazy, radical, controversial group of yours does that they don't want at their at their trade show. Um,
Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
guess so. Yeah, I'm the executive director of Independent Cattlemen's Association. It's an organization that's been around for over half a century here in the state of Texas, exclusively representing cow-calf producers, small independent operators here in the state of Texas. Uh, yeah, we're not a radical group of any kind. At least we didn't think so till we got notice. But no, like you said, NCBA had always advertised this convention as, cattle industries convention, which we're very much a part of. And seeing that they were coming to right here in our backyard, matter of fact, a little more than an hour from our headquarters, we figured that was a good opportunity to touch base with some, producers in the area and maybe some prospective members and send an intern or two and hand out brochures and just spread the word about our great organization here. Um, Never thought in a million years we wouldn't be invited. We had been on their trade show map. Staff had been working with their staff and talked to several people and upsold us on ad space after we had purchased our booth. Been
oh,
on,
so see, this is info I didn't. So you were all
yeah,
in the works. You were
yeah.
set and ready to go.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were on their trade show map online for, I mean, probably a month and a half, nearly 2 months.
So
And
this wasn't even a rejected application. This was just a straight up, we're not
oh,
allowing you to
yeah,
come.
this
Like
was,
we,
I mean, it was a done deal as far as we were concerned. Had our hotels booked and all that good stuff. And then last Monday, I had a letter overnighted. I felt, maybe an email would suffice, but I mean, you they overnighted official letter with NCBA letterhead and let us know that they value the contributions of diverse voices in industry so much that they don't allow them present in the building.
yeah.
So it's kind of wild, but
Yeah. So you had been, do you know when you applied?
oh, I guess I could see when NCBA cashed the check originally, and it was probably
So
two or
they'd
three days
already,
before that. Oh
They
yeah.
already took your money. And it's not cheap. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know it's
Oh
expensive.
yeah. But also they gave us a full refund.
Yeah, right. Did you think when you applied that you might not get in, knowing
No, no,
you thought you always would?
no.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. You know,
And
there's
really your goal, I mean, this isn't like you're putting on a presentation or I
no,
mean,
no.
you
This
have a
is
booth in
nothing
a trade show.
nefarious. We'd have sent an intern, and just talk to producers, hand out brochures, and sell some ICA caps if
Right.
happened. There's nothing,
Yeah.
no ill intent, nothing nefarious here. We do producer trade shows all the time, all over the state. This is just another one of them.
Right.
And
And so what do you
and,
like,
and let me just say, I don't run an organization as large as National Cattlemen's Beef Association, but I run a pretty good sized state organization, and I just would never draft or send a letter out like this, period, even if there was something internal and you thought um, that booth vendor might be controversial or distasteful to some of your members or registrants. I certainly wouldn't say we're not allowing you to come because of the thoughts you hold and the
right.
positions and philosophy you
It
hold.
seems like what I've always said
Because
about the checkoff is it's like the most anti-American thing that we have going, where you force producers to pay in and they have no control over that money, and no say over any of it. And then, but yeah, even just it's the most and this is like the most anti-free speech kind of thing, especially once they've already let you in. And but because do you have any idea, I guess, of what your policy positions that are different?
well, the two
Because they didn't
pol
specify, they just said
no,
you hold a different position, you're not allowed.
yeah, and they said that what else did they say here? That our policy positions and missions would potentially detract from the goals of our organization. So I had to go pull our brochure just to double check that our the missions of our organization were listed correctly, because I didn't see how any of that wouldn't align with the supposed top cattle trade organization in the country, because our missions are promoting beef consumption, strengthening the bottom lines of our members, producers in the state, and the two policy positions that we feel do that is supporting country of origin labeling
Yeah.
requirements, or at the very least, getting rid of the loophole that allows foreign beef to bear American label. And we also have a strong position against mandatory identification, mandatory electronic identification, or mandatory ID of any kind, but purely because we oppose the federal government's further regulation of any farm or ranch practice, because we're already so burdened with them today.
Right.
And our animal disease protocols stand today, have served us well, and we promote ID. That's important for our industry. Folks should be tagging, folks should be keeping great records, but it shouldn't be mandated by the federal government. And those are the only two positions that um, contrast to NCBA's positions. But even so, it's not something that would, you got to bar the doors from having
Right.
those thoughts and opinions in the room.
Yeah.
Again, this room isn't even where thoughts and opinions happen. This is a trade show,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
the beef checkoff policy or NCBA policy discussion. It's a trade show.
Right. Yeah. And so, your members, like, I guess you just got this last week, but you have you're a decent sized outfit and and all of your members are cattle producers, right? I mean, pretty
Yes, sir.
much. And
Yeah,
so they're
all of our voting members, and the
yeah.
numbers that we report,
Yeah.
those are
And
all
so they're all paying into the beef checkoff. And like I've been saying, no one really knows where all this beef checkoff money goes because it's not transparent at all. But their logo is on this trade show, and in the past they have said they sponsor. It is the Cattlemen's Beef Board trade show, and so what you have is Texas cattle producers who are not being allowed, are forced to pay in. and then are not being allowed in the trade show, or to have a booth in the trade show. And so I guess, and you are a U.S. Cattlemen's Association affiliate, and they are a beef checkoff contractor also. So I mean, that should it's just kind of crazy how the whole thing works. And I guess,
And the thing is, you mentioned our national affiliate, U.S. Cattlemen's Association. You know, we affiliate with them because, we feel that our organization's philosophy most aligns with U.S. Cattlemen's of all the big national groups, but we're not opposed to dual affiliations or affiliating with other groups. And it's just interesting because our organization is just not opposed to just working with anybody, being a part of anybody, and it's but maybe we ought to be.
yeah, yeah, I would, yeah. I mean, I guess it's eye-opening, hopefully for a
Yeah,
lot of
it is
people.
eye-opening.
And so I appreciate you coming on and letting me talk about this deal.
Yeah,
And
and I just want to
that's
be clear, if you don't mind, Jim, because I don't want to for it to get misconstrued that ICA, our organization, does not oppose the checkoff, does not want to see the checkoff abolished. We just have ambitions to improve the checkoff. It hadn't been modernized since the act and order was created in 1985, and there's anything that hadn't been looked at for that length of time probably should take a good second look. And there's just some obvious reforms that are needed um, with these imitation products. Allowing kind of unrestricting the checkoff to where they can disparage against products, right? And um, but particular products that are kind of stealing the brand of cattle producers and disparaging production practices of cattle producers at the same time. But
right.
or
Yeah.
even the fact that these cell cultured products, right? They're under generic label authority right now and able to call themselves beef, right? They
Mm-hmm.
have that generic label authority.
Right.
So how does that work right now? Is the checkoff indirectly promoting beef demand now that those products are temporarily able to be called beef?
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the nuances of it, but I just want to be clear that we don't want to abolish the checkoff. We're not against the checkoff. We just want it to, we love the checkoff so much. We want it to actually work for producers and be transparent and producers be aware of what their checkoff does for them. That's it. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah, and I think that's the goal. That's how my stance has been the whole time. And I think with NCBA controlling all the money, that's the number one, this is my opinion. That's the number one problem, the problem with it. And so I guess that's about all on that deal. Did you have anything else that you want to, I guess, any message for your members or cattle producers out there?
Any
Just
cattle producers that aren't ICA members, sign up today. Go to ICAtexas.com. Call the state office at 512-620-0162. We'd love to have you a part of the organization. If you align with us, if you're hearing anything you like, give us a call.
yeah. And that'd be good. Hopefully this does more good to you for you than the actual booth would have. So share the video. I guess I'll put that out there because cattle producers really, they deserve, and consumers too. They deserve to know what's going on with this money and how people are being treated in this industry. And that's my goal overall with Lonesome Lands is just show everything, be as transparent as we can and really show everyone what's going on out there because you can't make things better if things are constantly in the shadows. So appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate you, Jim. Thanks for having me.